Hey everyone, and welcome to Gordon Patrick. Today, we are going to learn 5 ways on how to set healthy boundaries. Now, let's begin. Number 1, visualize and name your limits. The first and most important step to defining your boundaries is to make them concrete. Boundaries are often confusing and abstract because they feel invisible in our daily lives. However, by visualizing your boundaries and writing them down, you can get enough clarity on where you want to draw the line between you and the other person. Set aside some time to reflect on the state of your life. Ask yourself these questions. What is causing me unnecessary stress or discomfort? What do I look forward to each day versus what I dread? Who or what gives me energy? What areas of my life do I feel exhausted by? What makes me feel safe, supported, and valued? Draw a large circle on a blank sheet of paper. Inside that circle, write everything that makes you feel safe and stress-free. For example, a daily routine, words of affirmation from your partner, hugs from your loved ones, leaving work stress in the office, clear communication from your loved ones, freedom to decide how you spend your time, saying no to energy vampires, and autonomy over your body. On the other side of a circle, write down anything that causes you discomfort, pain, annoyance, or emotional exhaustion. These are the people or situations that push the limits of your boundary. For example, your mom telling you what to do with your life, working after hours on a project instead of prioritizing your self-care, worrying about what certain person think about you, your friend asking to borrow money, your co-worker constantly dumping her relationship problems on you at lunch, your roommate eating your food from your fridge, your boyfriend or girlfriend controlling who you talk to or hang out with, ordinary people touching you in a way you don't like, acquaintances asking deep or intimate questions about your life, friends or people video calling without your permission or without informing you at first, someone using vulgar words around you. This circle represents a visible manifestation of your limits. It's time to take anything outside that circle and determine how you can define a boundary that will prevent or eliminate those issues in the future. Number 2, openly communicate your boundaries. One of the biggest mistakes people make is setting boundaries in their minds but not sharing them with people in their life. Sometimes people assume that you should know their boundaries, but if you didn't clearly communicate where you have drawn the line, how will you know when you've overstepped it? This can seem daunting and scary, but it can feel a whole lot significant once you can get it off the way. A social psychology researcher, Brown, says, "Clear is kind, unclear is unkind." Once you know your boundaries, you have to communicate them. Take a deep breath, gather your resolve, and assertively express your needs in a kind, direct, and polite way. So, this is how to clearly communicate your boundaries. Time boundary. I can only stay for an hour, or if you are going to be late, please let me know ahead of time. Energy boundary. I don't have the energy to help you with your request, but maybe these results can help. Emotional boundary. I understand you are having a hard time and I want to be there for you, but I don't have the emotional capacity to listen right now. Personal space boundary. It makes me feel uncomfortable when you do that. If you can't respect my space, I will have to leave. Conversational boundary. This is not a topic I'm willing to discuss right now with you. Comment boundary. I don't find those types of comments funny at all. Mental boundary. I understand we see things differently and I respect your opinion, but please do not force yours on me. Material boundary. Please ask me first before taking my things or any things that belong to me, or I will appreciate if you do not touch my things. Social media boundary. I don't feel comfortable with what you just posted on the Instagram. Well, fortunately, once someone is aware of your boundaries, most people will respect them and apologize if they accidentally cross the line. Without clear communication, the lines become blurred. You can quickly find yourself crossing into more dangerous territory of getting burned out or taken advantage of or even neglecting your own needs. Number 3, reiterate and uphold your boundaries. Like the invisible perimeter fence around a yard protects a dog from running into the street, boundaries protect you from overextending your mental and emotional well-being. But the dog has to be trained not to cross the line. They have to understand where your yard starts and ends. It takes time, repetition, and patience. The same is true of human boundaries. Not everyone will understand or respect your boundaries the very first time. It's essential to stand firm in your decision while kindly reminding them of your needs when necessary. A dog will get confused if the yard starts at the bushes one day but extends to the sidewalk the next day. If someone doesn't initially respect your boundary, remind them, but stay consistent with your original decision. Avoid shifting boundaries for somebody else's comfort. If you said, "I don't feel comfortable with you contacting me during work hours," you probably don't want to send the message that sometimes it's okay for you to text me late at night. While it may be awkward or uncomfortable initially, a person who truly wants to be in your life will respect your decision. Number 4. Don't be afraid to say no. Have you ever met someone who seemed to say yes to everything? People who are afraid to say no often end up with an overflowing plate of duties and responsibilities that they can't seem to keep up with. They tend to forego their self-care as they frantically try to meet the demands of all the people and the things they say yes to. No is a powerful word. It seems strikingly similar in dozens of languages and can be recognized by simple gesture or facial expressions. Yet, so many people in modern day have been programmed to feel guilty of their no's. In reality, to say no is to draw a line in the sand. It is an expression of courage, self-love, and sovereignty over your daily decisions. Remember that every yes and no shapes your reality. You have the power to choose how you will spend your time and energy. If something doesn't feel right in your guts, you probably shouldn't do it. The word no is essential for healthy boundaries. Saying no doesn't have to be rude, but it also doesn't require an apology or any explanation. Have you noticed a situation in your life where you have to say, "I'm sorry, I can't," or "maybe," or "let me get back to you," when in real sense you wanted to say no? Pay attention to how you shift these simple conversations to more clearly drawn out boundary instead of leaving the other person waiting for a clear answer. The clarity of your communication will ultimately benefit all parties involved. Number 5. Take time for yourself. Amidst our fast-moving world, self-care can feel selfish and even frivolous. But the science of self-care is clear. Taking alone time for yourself is linked to more confidence, greater creativity, more emotional intelligence, and more emotional stability in challenging situations. It can even help prevent burnout. For the next month, set aside a solid 2 hours block of time on your calendar each week, specifically for me time. Let your close friends and family know that you won't be available during this time. Whether you are cooking a healthy meal for yourself, or getting outside, taking a rest day, hitting the yoga studio, or lounging on a beach with a good book, creating time for yourself is crucial for healthy boundaries. But what does self-care has to do with boundaries? Solitude allows you to reflect on your life and your values. The time you set aside for self-care can help bring more clarity into your relationship with other people, ultimately helping you define your boundaries. To many, this may seem selfish. Modern society's tendency towards self-care and workaholism has led a large majority of people to dismiss boundaries or sacrifice their well-being to please other people. Ironically, this can often have the opposite effect than they would like. Self-care and healthy boundaries are not selfish. They are a form of self-love that leads to deeper relationships and more fulfilling experiences. And the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Healthy boundaries are a way to fill your cup so that you can offer more joy and help to the world.